guys, welcome to Nerd Bites. This is going to be my rewind review for Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Yes, we've got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild coming very, very soon in just a week's time, and I'm so looking forward to it. I'm going to be getting it on the day. I'm so surprised that I am, but I actually managed to be able to afford that and the Switch, and I'm going to be getting it on the day, so hopefully I'll be able to do an unboxing, and eventually I'll do a review of Breath of the Wild. So leading up to it, I thought I'd do a couple of Zelda videos. This one being a rewind review, and then I'll do a top 5 Legend of Zelda games that are coming later on as well. Yes, of course there will be spoilers for this game, but come on, if you're watching this video, you must have played it. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask goes down as one of my all-time favourite games. It was going to have a hard time beating Ocarina of Time because that was just my staple of my childhood, and then finding out that there was going to be another one on the same console coming out, and it's a direct sequel with the same incarnation of Link, you just think there's no way it could be beaten. And they just came back, and I'm not saying they beat it, but god damn did they give it a run for its money. This game, just considering they made it in the space of a year, they were just told I'll make it in a year, became one of the darkest, best stories, best like fun quests and side quests, dungeons, characters and everything. They just really made an awesome game for the N64. And it basically follows the same incarnation as Link from Ocarina of Time after he goes back into his childhood state after he's beaten Ganon, and then he wanders off finding Navi in the Lost Woods, and then the Skull Kid takes a mask from the old salesman guy, and then you chase him through because he takes your horse, and then you fall into this alternate dimension called Termina. And from then on you carry on, you do the usual classic Zelda stuff, getting your items and going through dungeons and everything to beat the massive boss at the end, which is Majora's Mask itself, which is pretty cool. The Skull Kid's just kind of like a puppet, which I quite like. Also the backstory for Skull Kid, it was really quite tragic and sad, and you see that whole thing happening, and then you have valid reasons for why he would take the mask and everything, because he doesn't have anything to lose and he's very upset and kind of thing. He doesn't have any other friends apart from these two fairies. Now the great thing I really liked about this game was the 3-day time limit. First of all, when you start, it's really daunting because you're like, oh god, 3 days and I'm going to die, you know what I mean? It's really quite daunting. But when you get to the realisation you can do stuff and then save it by using the Song of Time, it takes you back to the first day and you just repeat it, repeat all the time. That was a cool dynamic. That's not been done before or since in a Zelda game. And I haven't really played another game that does that mechanic as well. There probably is some games out there that do it, but none that I've played. It was cool. It kind of gave you that race against time kind of feel, and I really quite liked the mechanic of it. Yes, of course the moon crashes in and everything. I really quite like it because every person's done it. Every person waits until the last moment and then watch the moon crash in and destroy the whole place, and you get blown away and all that kind of stuff. That was funny. Well, again, one thing that Zelda does really well is your dungeons and your bosses. The dungeons on this, there was only 4, so it's quite a minimal amount to be honest, but it really more than makes up for it with all the side quests of getting all these 20 masks, which is quite a feat. Some of them are big side quests. But the dungeons and the bosses, again, a lot of fun, a lot of thinking and everything to use different characters, not just Link. You get to become a Deku Scrub, you get to become a Goron, you get to become a Zora, and as a little kid when you first play that, you're just like, oh my god, this is awesome. And using them within the dungeons, as if it's another item, really. You have to use them to get through the specific dungeons. One of my favourites has got to be Got or Goat, or however you say it, that kind of mechanical goat thing, where you just run in with the Goron just like a massive wheel, just attacking him. That was a really fun and inventive boss. It wasn't just a one-on-one fighting using your items, it was literally going round and round in a circle, just hitting him as many times as you can, all the while trying not to get hit by bombs or anything. What a fun boss. Stone Tower Temple, fuck me, it was hard, but it was so satisfying when you got to the end and you got the Stone Mask, became a giant. That was awesome. Like I said, getting the masks, if you get all 20 of them, right at the very end when you get onto the moon itself and you go, before you go against Majora's Mask, you can trade all these masks to these other kids that are wearing the boss masks to get the Fierce Deities mask, or Dente, or however you say it. Get that mask and you become a massive, like, adult Link kind of thing with white hair and a massive sword. It makes it really easy to take down Majora's Mask. So there is a prize at the end of collecting all these masks and taking all the time and hours to collect it. The great thing, obviously, at the end is that you've got the 4 gods of each temple and everything that you release each time you finish the temple, and then they come out and they help hold the moon up while you go on there and destroy Majora's Mask, and then it's sort of, as usual, the games happen, it all finishes all lovely and nice and everything. You see these 2 other characters get married that you saw from another side quest and all that kind of stuff. And it was a cool ending as well. You get to see the Happy Mask guy get his mask back and off he wanders. Seeing the Skull Kid kind of happy again as well. And the final picture when you see on the tree trunk with you and Skull Kid and the fairies and then the 4 giants in the background. It's just a nice way to finish it off, to know that Skull Kid wasn't the bad guy. He was just, like I said, a puppet. in the greater scheme of destruction. I honestly don't know who I favoured the most, whether it was the Deku Scrub, the Goron, or the Zora. The Zora was so much fun, just going in and out of the waves and everything, and using that and going under the water. That was a lot of fun. Using their arm things as boomerangs. But then the Goron spinning around a wheel was fun. But then flying with the Deku Scrub for a limited time, that was quite fun. I really can't make my mind up on who I like the most. It's really quite hard because they all had their own little bits and they had their own parts to play, and it was a lot of fun playing new characters in a Zelda game, because obviously you always play Link, bar a couple of like exceptions, but this you have 3 other full-on characters, and it was a lot of fun to have that dynamic in. This game for me just overall was just an absolutely amazing feat, considering they only did it in a year. Just an incredible game, and it just hours and hours went by of me of my childhood just playing this game. I've played it so many times since then. It always reminds me of Christmas as well, because I got it at Christmas, and it just all that, you know, that nostalgia sets in. An epic game, it never gets boring. It doesn't matter how dated the graphics are, because it's an epic game, and that proves the epicness of a game and the brilliance of a game. If the graphics don't matter, if it's good, it's good. And this is one of those games. If you're a Zelda fan, you must have played it by now, but if you haven't, you absolutely have to. If you're not a Zelda fan or you haven't played the games yet, I would suggest playing Majora's Mask after playing a few others. Seriously, Legend of Zelda for me is my all-time favourite game franchise. I love it so much. I cannot wait for Breath of the Wild. And Majora's Mask is going down as one of my absolute favourite Legend of Zelda titles, and I think it's completely fair to give it a full 5 stars. So that was my rewind review for Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. What did you think about the game? Let me know down in the comments or send me an email. You can also find me in the various social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, moviepilot.com. Just type in Nerd Bites anywhere and I'm sure you'll find me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my videos. And of course, keep it nerdy.